Okay, Traffic Committee, Gerard.
So on the agenda tonight is a discussion and a motion on the awarding the, we have a Smart Transportation Grant, a PCTI funding to do a traffic, pedestrian and bicycle planning study. We were awarded $30,000 in 2009, and we are now in the process of selecting a consultant to work with the borough to implement the study. And a request for proposal went out in June, and the responses came back in the end of July. We had 10 respondents, so it was a stack of reading materials for the Traffic Committee to go through, as well as copies made available to the mayor and council. This funding is being administered through the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission and ultimately by PennDOT. The selection process for any vendor goes through a strict process. We had a decision matrix in our request for proposals, and that included professional qualifications. That was weighted 30% with a number of sub items under professional qualifications. We had narrative and understanding of the problem. That was weighted 40%, again with a number of sub-criteria underneath that. Application of innovative approaches, that was weighted 20%, again with sub-criteria under there. And knowledge of local conditions was weighted 10%. The Traffic Committee got together on August the 3rd to review the 10 proposals, and a decision matrix tool was emailed before to hopefully make it an easier job, but it was actually a pretty tough job. Based upon review and evaluation of the criteria against each company's proposal, the committee members ended up discussing the top 3 choices that they had. Interestingly, there was a lot of commonality across the members of the committee. And again, the members of the committee are Amy Lustig, John Guy's in the audience, Jennifer Pennington, and I'm sitting on the committee as the liaison. Based upon a review of the top 3 and in further discussion, the firm of Jacobs Engineering Group was the consensus choice by the committee. Subsequent to our meeting, a number of the committee members reached out to the references provided by Jacobs to have a discussion with previous clients. I contacted the firm to just double check on their availability in terms of resource to work on the project this fall. And based upon our follow-up items, everything seems to be in order, and Jacobs Engineering is the recommendation to Newtown Borough Council. And I should have mentioned I dropped off the summary of that meeting on each of your spots. So I guess I'd like to entertain any questions, or John, have any comments to make about the process or the firm? Jacobs just did an excellent job of really understanding the goal of the project, and it's really about pedestrian and bicycle modes of transportation fitting into the borough, and they really understood the problem. They have the qualifications and relevant experience, and they just nailed all of the qualifications. So they clearly rose to the top. Any comments or questions from?
Do you want to make a motion?
I will make a motion to accept the proposal of Jacobs Engineering Group Incorporated for the Newtown Borough Integrated Transportation and Circulation Study.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? What's the next step, Gerard?
So, great question. I am in contact with the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission. I believe the next step will be upon the decision of council on a firm. The proposal, the RFP, the decision matrix criteria that we use to arrive to our decision will be sent to them, as well as then forwarded on to PennDOT for their agreement that it's an appropriate firm for the job. And then our next step will be to get the firm involved in the scoping of the project. And I should have mentioned that this decision is based entirely on qualification. So it's a qualification-based decision. It's not about cost. We have a dollar amount of funds available, and the next step will be to scope out the problem, or scope out the piece of work, and have the firm come up with a cost proposal. And obviously we will work to our budget. So we'll do as much work as we can to meet our budget. But that's a second phase of this selection process. The first one is identifying the appropriate firm. having PennDOT agree to that, and then the discussion on the scope of work and the cost.
Your budget references to the grant.
The grant,
Not our
yes.
budget.
It's all coming from the their federal dollars being administered through the states.
Okay, any other questions? I'll call the question then. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
If I may, since we're on traffic, it just made me think of it. I was asked, I think at the work session, about the four-way stop sign at Lincoln and Penn, and should have mentioned it under my streets report. However, I didn't, so I will now if I may. The actual installation of those signs is now scheduled for early next week, hopefully Monday, and I mention it particularly because it has not been a four-way stop in the past, and it's going to take, I think, some time to get used to. Traffic Committee worked very hard on this project as part of others, and anyone watching this meeting will hopefully take to heart that it now is a four-way stop sign. There will be assistance with some temporary flashers for a period of 2 weeks, so that will remind people they're coming up on a stop sign for the first time, but nevertheless, old habits die hard, and we hope we don't have any problems with that. But the actual installation should be, as I say, early this coming week.
Great.